The Hong Kong court began hearing final arguments today in the landmark national security trial of former pro-democracy newspaper founder Jimmy Lai, who could be facing a long prison sentence if he is convicted. And the case has now caught the attention of the US President Donald Trump. So let's bring in our Asia editor, Karishma Vyas. Karishma, good to have you with us this evening. Now, firstly, can you take us through what happened in court today and remind us what Jimmy Lai is being charged with under those controversial national security laws?
Girish, so as you mentioned, this is the beginning of final arguments in 77-year-old media mogul Jimmy Lai's long, protracted trial. He is charged with sedition as well as conspiring with foreign forces to destabilize national security. Now, this is an extremely serious charge. The important thing to note here is that Jimmy Lai was first taken into custody in December 2020. His trial didn't begin until 3 years later, and now here we are in 2025 with the final arguments only just beginning. So this has already been a very protracted process, and it will continue for several more days as final arguments wrap up.
Yes, and Karishma, what's the maximum punishment he faces if he is found guilty?
As I mentioned, this is a very serious charge against Jimmy Lai, and the sentence it carries is life in prison. So this is deeply concerning for his family. In addition to the sentence he faces, they are already concerned about his deteriorating health conditions. During this protracted trial, he has been held in a maximum security prison. And much of the time he has been in solitary confinement. Only last week, his lawyer said that his client is experiencing heart palpitations, and the court allowed him to have a heart monitor and medication to address this. And in addition to that, Lai is diabetic, so his family is deeply concerned about not only his future, but his current state while he spends time in prison. And they have called on the US as well as the UK to intervene immediately to secure his release.
Now, this is such a high-profile case, as you mentioned, and it's caught the attention of not only the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, but also Donald Trump. What's the US president had to say, and will it make any difference to Jimmy Lai and others who are also in jail in a similar circumstance?
Interestingly, President Trump, in the lead-up, just in the days before his re-election in 2024, mentioned Jimmy Lai. He said that he was eager, if he was re-elected, to secure his release. And at the time, he said it would be quite easy for him to do that. Now we're 10 months into his presidency, and very little has changed for Jimmy Lai and his circumstances. Again, last week, President Trump on Fox said that he was eager to do whatever he could to save him, but we're not seeing any movement on the ground in terms of the influence that the president could have on this case.
Yes, and speaking of calling for help, another one who is doing that is Ted Hui. He is a former Hong Kong pro-democracy politician who's just been granted asylum here in Australia, and he wants the Albanese government to do more to rescue the likes of Jimmy Lai. Will the Australian government involve itself more in this respect?
Well, so far we've just seen a spokesperson from the Foreign Affairs Ministry talking about how concerned they are about how these sweeping national security laws are being used in Hong Kong, specifically to target pro-democracy advocates, including Jimmy Lai. However, the Chinese government has always maintained that they do not appreciate foreign governments, foreign organizations to interfere with their internal affairs, which is how they are viewing this case involving Jimmy Lai. So it's unclear exactly how much influence the Australian government or any foreign government will have in terms of the outcome of this case. The verdict is expected before the end of the year, but because of these continuing delays that we've seen already in this case, it's really uncertain when a verdict will be released.
Okay, Asia editor Karishma Vyas, thank you so much for that update.